Hello and welcome to My Security TV. My name's Chris Cubbage and we're at the Sofitel Hotel in Sydney enjoying CCTV World. I'm joined by Mr. Douglas Florence, the Global Business Development Manager for Avigilon. Douglas, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
Douglas, you're a gaming security and surveillance specialist. Maybe just tell us a bit about your background.
Well, I came into the gaming sector back in 1993 as the Director of Surveillance for the Rio Suite Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. And I went from the gaming sector back into corporate security for a number of years, and I was recruited back into the gaming sector at the Mirage. So I was the Director of Surveillance at the Mirage, and then I spent several years on the technology side with ADT Tyco as a business development director, with Verint for a couple of years, with Nice Systems for 5 years. And then in the last 14 months, I was the Executive Director of Security for the Hard Rock Hotel in Las Vegas. And then I was recruited to the M Resort in Las Vegas, and I became their Vice President of Security and Surveillance. And most recently, it's nice to be needed, I was recruited to Avigilon to be the Business Development Director globally for gaming for them as well.
So from Avigilon's point of view, they're obviously targeting the gaming sector now and have brought you on board. So you've obviously worked for some casinos in Las Vegas, and you're well placed to help Avigilon out.
Well, exactly, and I mean that's what I'm here for, is to help the industry understand the use of the megapixel camera, and we are really truly in the IP convergence. I wrote a chapter for a book, Security in the Year 2020, where my predictions were that casino security would be by 2020 completely IP. Today it's not. You take Las Vegas as an example, they have about over half of the properties that are using VCR still today. Whereas compared to Australia, the majority of Australia's properties have been digital for many, many years. And so what we're seeing is that convergence of upgrades from the standard digital, which was the DVR, to IP, where today the encoder, when you look at the investment costs of why you would want to use encoder technology over DVR, is to now have a full virtual matrix capable type system and a full IP capable system, meaning that you can now start using megapixel video as a part of your camera family. And not forgetting the investment that all the properties have made in the analog. They're kind of in the analog world. There's a transition still.
Well, I was going to say, obviously they're going to eventually migrate, but if they're still in analog, it's what do you think is holding them back? Is it just simply that it's currently working for them?
It was the investment. Yeah. When you talk about, for example, some of the sessions that we've heard here today, we saw the extreme of what is the cost. And so in euros, as an example, we went from 350 euros to as high as 1,800 euros per channel. Or in the Americas, it was about, on average, anywhere from $800 to $1,000 a channel. Well, example with Avigilon, I'm working with a client right now in Washington State with over 300 channels of video that will put in again, what you see is what you get. I mean, we're taking the full capability of the camera, converting it through an encoder into an IP world, and now bringing it to them to where they can manage their video. And all we're doing is shoehorning out the previous recording management. We're leaving their matrix, and we're creating the hybrid. You're talking under $400 US per channel for a 2-week, a 14-day library in real time, and doing the full capability of the camera, which is a little beyond 4SIF today. But that was the holdback, was the cost per channel and the investment. Because in the Asian community and the Australian community, those investments started a long time ago. And so we've seen through many of the sessions that were held here today why they did it. And it's exciting to see some of the ways they've implemented plans and the policies and the rules. We don't have that in the Americas. Quite frankly, like the story you heard about getting the lewd video onto the TV, we had something very much like that happen in the Americas in Atlantic City. And so that casino got fined $80,000 US, but it made the casino operators across the country think about the topic. So in Las Vegas, we actually had one of our major strip properties terminate a director of surveillance and one of his staff members because they came across that 3-hour lewd tape that they not only had they made the tape, but they had narrated some commentary on, and it was on video. Imagine if that had made it onto the TV. So I wrote an article about that, and I didn't say who, and I didn't say what property, but the person who was that director called me and said, "How could you write an article about me?" And I said, "Oh, that was you, was it?" And he hung up the phone on me. So, I mean, but the whole idea is that's important to know.
It's a critical factor, really, in the way that the CCTV systems are operated, is that they're operated with good conduct, and the information on there is kept confidential. So it's good to know that those issues are international. It's not just here in Australia, but obviously
Australia has been the leader in setting some of those standards. I mean, you guys put it on paper first.
Yes.
And you have to credit a lot of your operators over here, be it in the educational sector or the casino sector, for taking the responsibility to be good corporate citizens.
Douglas, looking forward to your presentation. Thank you very much for joining us
Thank
on
you.
Life Security TV.
All right. Have a good day.